remind everybody that today, on November 7th, you need to get out and vote tomorrow. So don't let your vote go to waste. November 7th, tomorrow, get out there and vote. Every vote counts. I don't care who you're voting for. Make sure you don't waste that, though. So, hey, tonight, we got a special guest on. We've got Whiskey Jack Toys. Darren, what's up, buddy?
Hey, how you doing?
How's it going, man? Yeah, good to have you back on.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, good to be back.
And we're going to talk some O-ring figures today. CHOAS.
Yeah.
And this is a current Kickstarter going on right now. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, CHOAS. It's an all villains 3 3/4 inch O-ring toy line. Just villains on villains, and the general premise is just that it's one villain seeing sort of sick of defeat. He reaches out to other people like him and says, "Hey, we should all band together and defeat each other's nemesis or the good guys one by one as a team, as a unit." And it works out for them. So as the toy line picks up, it's them inviting all these other villain teams to join the ranks and become part of their villain army.
Nice. So kind of a Sinister Six situation here.
Yeah. On a bigger scale. Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, it's always their hubris always does them in. They always turn on each other, though. So
right, absolutely. Yeah. So I mean, I've just been describing it in the sort of elevator pitch is hey, seeing everybody pop in. Hi. But the elevator pitch, I've generally been calling it Legion of Doom meets Game of Thrones.
There you go.
A lot of backstabbing and behind the scenes moves against each other to everybody trying to ascend to the top of that army.
Now, I don't usually like to speak for people, but I'm going to guess why you did this. Why you chose this direction. Okay. It's because of the women. Yeah. I can only assume how many women are coming after you after putting all of them.
It's crazy, right?
I thought,
just holding them back. Yeah. It's I did this honestly because as a kid, I thought I grew up reading comics. Like, I loved Captain America. I loved the X-Men, Wolverine. Funny aside, I'll get back to Wolverine in a minute. But I got into, all these guys that were super heroic. And to me, some of their heroism was that they would fight just legions of bad guys. Come through the other side and have won the day. And so as a kid, when I played with my action figures and I only had like 8 bad guys to fight my 15 good guys, I was like, well, that's not heroic. And I always so very early in my toy collecting, I would always lean towards the villains, but not because I like the villains, because I want my heroes to be more heroic. So this stems from my play patterns as a kid. I was like, how about I just create a line of bad guys so that you can just pick these up and make your good guys more of your favorite toy line, make them more heroic. They've now got attorneys to fight, So,
do you know why Optimus Prime is so cool? Because he has to fight Megatron. And Megatron is awesome, right? Yeah, exactly. The bigger the challenge, the cooler the hero. Absolutely.
Yeah. Megatron was actually my first Transformer for what it's worth.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. He was too awesome. I couldn't pass him up.
There was a time in the late, I'd say early 2000s, right? When whenever the SpiderMan movies were coming out. So around that era, right? And toys were still predominantly coming on the shelves, but you would get a box. They'd open up a box like Spider-Man figures. And it would be Spider-Man, various Peter Parker, one Dr. Octopus. I'm like,
right?
This is terrible. Like, what were you thinking, man? Like, yes, of course we want Spider-Man, but what are they going to do? Like, all you can do is recreate the Spider-Man meme. We're all pointing at each other, right? Like, actually plays.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember actually, speaking of right at that time, I mean, I've always army built, even when I was, like I said, as a kid, but I remember that was one of the ones where I went over the top. I don't know how familiar you are with the 2000-ish era of G.I. Joe, when they were doing the re-releases. That Major Blood and Range Viper, or Rock Viper 2, they called it. That pack, I bought 78 off the shelf because I loved that Cobra Trooper. I was like, that's my new Cobra Army. Like, that's my main Cobra Trooper from now on. And at 78, I had to call it quits. I'm like, okay, that's enough. Now I'm stealing the opportunity from other kids because I'm an adult. And like, I realized when I saw kids wanting that figure, I'm like, kid. Because then they're going to or else I'm denying them the ability to be a toy fan, So
no, you just tell them should have grown up, losers.
Yeah.
Real quick to some of the chat. Bjorn, how you doing? Dale, good to see you, buddy. Famine. And then Outer Multiverse and Bob.
Hey, hey. We were just talking about you behind the scenes, Bob.
All positive things. All positive things. Got to caveat that one there.
Yeah.
Steven, and then thanks so much, Bob, for the thumbs up here. So, and then I see Joe is. Oh, and then here we go. Task Force Figures and Games. Man, I really like that new icon you got going on there, Brian. So, Chaos Figures are looking great. Yeah. So why don't we get into these here?
Let's see. I just realized I don't want to leave this dangling. Whatever I said, I'd come.
Oh, Wolverine. Okay, sure.
All I'm going to say is Wolverine. He's from BC, which is the part of Canada I'm from. Hello. So we're both from the same part of Canada, and his name is James Howlett, right? Wolverine. It was revealed his name isn't Logan. It's James Howlett. My name, my name is Darren James Howlett.
No way. That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm like,
I say
I'm like, I'm Wolverine, guys. I think that's
you should just shave all that middle part out,
right?
Yeah. Spike
I
the hair.
Yeah, I totally should
get the hair going there. So,
Joe,
what's up, buddy?
Cigar and a beer.
Hi.
Hey.
I knew there was a show.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
I have the Kickstarter pulled up. Sometimes my laptop doesn't really like that. Do you have the page pulled up?
I can get it.
Okay. All right. Sometimes mine bugs out. I had it when we're off screen, but you never know. Of course, whenever it goes live, everything just craps the bed on me. So,
right.
But yeah. So really quick, Hidden Force. That was your Kickstarter. That was successful. How's that coming? What's the status of that one? And,
for sure.
Yeah.
So, so we are at the same facility that did Strike Force Alpha. I'm trying to think what else has been produced there recently. That's the only one that really springs to mind. But and Strike Force Alpha, as far as Kickstarters went, they were the fastest turnaround, right? They did their Kickstarter, and like 8 months later, the product was in everybody's hands. And I don't think they get credit for that. I think it's sort of ignored or whatever. But like they delivered in months. And that's Jason Shiremeyer. He's a great friend. White Elephant Toys. He's the one that introduced me to them and said they're great. They've always taken good care of me. So I was like, perfect. I talked to the factory for a few years leading up to all this, and was very confident going into this that that's who we were going to deal with. And so as the figure process went, they got the tooling done. We approved all the tooling. We were like, fantastic. That's awesome. You totally got the go ahead from us. And then we didn't hear from them for a couple months. We assumed they were hard at work, and then they were like, "Okay, well, we're ready to start pressing the figures." And we're like, "You what? Like we approved the tooling 3 months ago," and they're like, "Yeah, we're going to start today." And then then they said as they were pulling it out to start, they're like, "And the arms are broken, so we're going to have to retool them." Yeah, and we were like, okay, well, that's really unfortunate. So that set everything back by another month just to retool the arms. And then, so then once the tooling had been done, they showed us all the figures had been pressed, like bins and bins and bags of figures. I think we actually showed them all on.
Wait, I want to interrupt you for 1 second, because my perspective, right? So a lot of toy buyers, like, they're like pins and needles, like, where's my thing? When is it going to ship, right? So like you have that problem of like when am I getting my thing times a million because you're trying to get it out to everybody, right? And
exactly. I've got thousands of people on me just right behind me, like when? Yeah, I know, absolutely, and it's nerve wracking. And then so then they so they showed us all the figures, like the Tarashi, all the orange parts. They showed us, Shinobi, all the blue parts. We're like, awesome. You've got literally bins of all the parts figures. Perfect. And so they showed us all paint samples. Awesome. We're good with that. We're happy with that. Everything turned out well. It wasn't paint samples of everybody, but we were like, okay, well, that's weird. But maybe they're just getting started. And again, radio silence for about another 2 months. And so this brings us up to like a month or so ago. And they're like, okay, well, we're ready to start with the paint samples. And we're like, what? What do you mean? You're ready? We already approved. And then they sent us paint samples of all the figures, and everything was horribly wrong, like just comically wrong. Like every single. So I don't know if you know all our figures. I don't expect you to, but there's one figure, Tarashi. He has a whited out eye from a scar.
Well, let's pull it up.
They gave that to every single figure.
Oh, the other line, yeah.
yeah.
Hidden Force.
Yeah, so they gave that eye to every figure, and then we were doing a preview figure for Eagle Force, and that preview figure, they just mashed him with other figures, and they were like
already.
I said, you know, anyways, comedy of errors, and it just so happens that it's the time that I'm trying to launch CHOAS, and all of a sudden the restaurant, I own a restaurant with a couple of people. It needs me more than ever. We're going through staffing shortages, and I just don't have hours in the day. So one of our sort of out of our inner core of people, there's one that's there, and he's always been there, and he's always been a large help, but he sort of doesn't have a lot on his like official docket of what he does. And he was like, hey, do you want me to take over? And oh God, Chad, I'm so thankful that he did. Chad took over QC with the factory, and in a matter of a couple days, which would have taken me over a month in our regular channels, he just jumped right in, and over the course of a couple of days, he got them back on track. So the painting is happening right now. So I would assume we're looking at a couple of weeks to finish up painting, a couple of weeks after that to cure the figures, and then after they're cured, they can be packaged and they're ready to go. You know, so I would like to think that's a couple of months, but being that there's already been some unexpected gaps and waits, there might be another one in there that I can't foresee.
You just needed someone in there to start kicking some ass and get people.
Yeah,
yeah.
I know. I totally understand. So when boss fights started, they would always send Dave over to the factory to oversee every production run. And I was like, that seems a little overkill, and I totally get it now. If we have a sizable production run next time, I will absolutely entertain going there and being on site while it's happening. So yeah, we'll see.
Well, we're excited to get those out, man. I'm excited to see those. So
thanks. Yeah, I'm super excited too. Like it's really exciting.
All right, let's talk about what's coming up now, or what's live now here.
CHOAS.
It's villain versus villain.
Yeah, it's villains versus villains. I shouldn't say that. It starts as villains. It's just villains. It's bad guys making an army of bad guys to take each other's heroes or nemesis out. They want to eliminate them all. And they do so by forming a small army. And it's so successful, they start inviting other small villain groups into the fold. And that's where things start to crumble, because all those villain groups under one roof, they all have different motivations and interests and desires, and those all start to come at odds. But yeah, that's sort of where it all comes, where we start the line at.
Nice.
Yeah.
So in this universe, the bad guys have already won. They're in control.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they've won they won against all their minor threats. The major threats still exist, and they've got to go up against them. So
who's the major threat then? Because this map looks very orange in the background there, and I assume orange is bad.
That's just
that's how they got their sights set. Yeah, they've got their sights set that way. So Killjoy, he's the leader. He's the originator. He's the instigator. He's the one that pulls it all.
Pepe Le Pew leading the pack here.
Yeah. Macumba is voodoo priest in the traditional.
I love the bare feet.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we did too. And he's very good at putting people under a spell, sort of mind control. That's his game.
You've got faction symbols for each of these two here, right? So which
so anybody with the label of CHOAS, they're the original ones that Dr. Killjoy sort of reached out to and said, let's team up and help each other out. They're the originals. There's 13 of them.
I have a personality feeling about that guy that he just doesn't tip. He's just not a tipper. Ooh, alternate head.
Yeah, some of them are coming out with alternate heads.
I like the jack-o'-lantern head, but having the alternate head is pretty cool.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, Halloween's one of my favorites. He's just so fun to write and knowing his where he comes from. Yeah, Halloween for life for sure. I love that guy.
This is Finn's, my 7-year-old's number one choice out of this line. He's like, Dad, we have to get any of these. We're doing that one. Yeah.
I didn't expect him to be that much of the lead, but he's definitely everybody. The most feedback I get is on Halloween.
I think it's because it's so unique and fun, you know.
Yeah. Thanks.
And that's the one thing. Like when we get through these, we'll go through them more. But you've got a wide range of the villains here. Like the first thing you had was a Dr. Frankenstein Mindbender character. Right. Then you had a voodoo priest. There's like a guy who looks like he's a getaway driver, right? You've got guys in jumpsuits, right?
There,
so yeah, there you go. Yeah, so just the range here.
Yeah, well, and it'd be boring if they were all, you know, the same kind of villain. You want to have all the kinds of evil represented, you know. Mm-hmm. Everybody, all the over the top and the subtle and the quiet ones, you know, everybody.
So in the description, you list out like their accessories and their items.
Yeah.
So what's your idea for pack-ins for these guys?
Generally speaking, when I was trying to that was literally the hardest part, and it's what I'm trying to work on right now this week is to actually get the visuals up of all the accessories. Yeah, and in a perfect world, I would have had that all together before the restaurant started needing all 24 hours of my day. But yeah, so the idea was I was trying to sort of dance between 5 and 8 accessories per figure.
Oh, okay.
Each named character comes with a significant accessory that also is named. So whether it's you know, an ally, a pet, or a weapon,
right?
So Maniac comes with Crash, which is his pet dog.
Supernatural Lantern. Okay.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Halloween comes with the Infernal Flame, which is and then, like I said,
cool.
So they're all sort of named accessories or named allies. And then
robotic surgical assistant. That's cool.
Oh yeah, his backpack, which has arms coming up over it to help him with the surgeries, is fantastic. Yeah, and then the army builders, instead of coming with that named accessory or whatever, we're making sure they get a couple extra weapons and extra heads, so you can swap them out and build your army better.
Yeah, the extra heads to build an army is pretty key. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
Am I synced right? Am I fine?
Yeah, you sound fine.
Okay, I had an internet warning just pop up here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that guy's definitely an Alex Jones follower here. So a lot of skulls, a lot of skeleton things in this first week.
Yeah, and that wasn't even intentional. Like I tried to be cognizant of that in developing all the looks of everybody. But like I said somewhere else, it's funny because in my original version of this, all 13 of the major figures. Oh,
it's okay. I'm still listening.
Okay, all 13 of the major figures of the key players were the first 13 to come out, and that wasn't realistic molding wise, like as far as tooling went.
Right.
So yeah, some of them got pushed way down, and then I realized there were certain things, you know, it became off balance. So the skull motif definitely ended up showing up a lot earlier, or a lot more in the early, whereas it's not really used in the later parts as much. So
gotcha.
I thought, I'm back by the way. I thought the second dude was definitely a pilot when I first saw him, the Firebrand. It absolutely looked like a pilot type vest there, like a Wild Weasel kind of flash, but with the red also.
There's a little bit of that. I mean, so Firebrand, the subset, the Firebrand, they're taken after. So there was a line in the 90s called Bronze Bombers. I mean, I guess in the 80s, and then they came back out in the 90s. But in the 90s, they had actually licensed out some Hasbro molds. They had legally licensed a few of the molds and created a group of characters that were heroes, the Bronze Bombers, and bad guys, and they were called Pyro's Band of Thugs. And they were all fire-based. So this is a reforming of Pyro's Band of Thugs and a bit of a reimagining. So yeah. Dang. So there were some pilot bodies used in those original ones that we were sort of trying to keep close to, you know,
like an homage of.
Absolutely,
that's such a deep cup to a subline. That's awesome.
I know but you know what I found, and I found it when we were Red Laser's Army. I found that as long as you make a figure that makes you happy, other people are going to find fun in it too. Whether they find the same fun, but like if we put all the detailing and love into creating a character or a figure or a paint apps that make us happy, and we're like, oh yeah, that's awesome. Then we find that generally those are the ones that are well responded to as well. So we try to do that with every figure now. You know, we put in as many deep cuts as we can to make ourselves happy, and hopefully people will slowly discover them themselves too.
That's awesome. Wait, I love the definitely looks like the G.I. Joe headhunter. They could fit right in with the headhunters there. Yeah. Which is awesome.
One of the things about Blazer here that we didn't really go into is his mask comes off. Removable, and there's
even cooler
fully painted head underneath. Yeah. We were like, we should probably just let people find that out, and then we're like, I don't know, maybe.
Maybe we should tell them.
So he was already my number one, and that just cemented him permanently there. Like that was my
he is
okay,
cool.
Good, yeah.
I mean, he does remind me of a headhunter, but also has that dark line kind of vibe.
Yeah, with the heavy one-sided pauldron. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So.
He's absolutely inspired by a Dark Lawn, a version of Dark Lawn.
There you go.
Yeah,
I remember there was an Iron Grenadier that came out with like one of the later G.I. Joe toy lines that had the heavy armor. Dom, you remember that?
Yeah.
The red ones?
Yeah, I do.
You have so many of those.
I do. Oh, the Headhunter Stormtroopers?
No, the Iron Grenadier that had like the bulky armor on.
And the modern version. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, those are great. Yeah.
But that side pauldron kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, and then the Heat Wave, they're the army builders. They're just essentially, I mean, the whole thing that Firebrand does is they incite violence, incite riots, incite things. They're instigators. They're paid to go to cause civil unrest. And the Heat Wave is just when they hand out the jackets and masks to random passersby and get them all caught up in it, you know?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Put this on. You're part of us now.
Tarantula.
Yeah. So there was a toy line in Europe called European Force. They were totally bootlegs. They were they illicitly used G.I. Joe molds or reasonable facsimiles of G.I. Joe molds. And this was a line in the 90s. And European Force fought against Miguel. And Miguel which translates as spider. Miguel was every one of the members of Miguel were from a different part of Europe, but they were all sort of spider based. So we just sort of took those characters and brought them into the fold and said, here they are, but they're trying to join Chaos, or Chaos is trying to get them to join. But instead of calling them Spider, we call them or Miguel.
You literally just blew my freaking mind, because I didn't know Miguel stands for Spider.
Yeah.
And the Spider-Man 2099, his first name is Miguel.
Right.
I never knew. I've been following that comic for like 35 whatever years, and like just made that.
Yeah, it's the words for
his name is Miguel O'Hara.
Phonetically, it's the word for spider. Yeah.
All right. Well, man, that is like
he's a Spanish Irishman. His name means spider.
Hold on, I need to sit down. All right, that like seriously never made that connection until right this moment I'm breathing. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to help you there.
Yeah, wow, man, something huge came out of the show other than the Kickstarter. This is. I like the jumpsuit. I like the jumpsuit. So I like that Firebrand has like their standard operating. Their what's it called? Not a standard operating procedure.
But they have a
MO.
purpose.
They have their MO, right? Yeah. So they like how their techniques are.
Yeah.
So what's Tarantula's specialty here?
They are they're weapons dealers and manufacturers. So primarily weapons dealers, but they're getting into the manufacturing end. And and so if you go down one more guy, Spider, he's the leader. That figure was never actually available in the European Force toy line, but he was the package art. So they had the package art was a guy you couldn't get. And so we were like, well, obviously that's the first guy we want to make available.
Mr. T. Destro?
Yeah, right.
Nailed it.
I know. It's crazy. The mohawk, the metal.
Looks awesome, by the way.
The everything, you're just like, this is crazy.
But the mustache is on the outside of the paint.
Yeah.
So
right.
Doesn't make any sense. It's fine.
Yeah.
We were trying to figure out like, it's face paint. Like, maybe it's Destro, and then he painted them. I was like, what? So is it a skin or is it a helmet?
No,
okay, just leave
I
it.
don't know.
Fine.
I don't know.
It's good.
We're gonna have to wait and find out what he tells us.
You're gonna have to wait for the cartoon, Dom, and we'll see if his mouth moves or not.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh.
Modus operandi. Thank you. I've stumbled with stupid army
Yeah.
terms. Can I get some of them this century? Yes. Yes is the answer to that.
Yes.
Speaking of, we should probably point to the Kickstarter and when the timeline is for that.
Here it
real quick
is.
here. Yeah, there you
There's
go.
16 days to go.
Yeah. November 23rd is when it wraps up. Yeah. We got to hit 50 grand. And then, like I said, a lot of people I've heard, as people do, they're waiting to see, they want to see that it funds because they want the stretch goals and they're worried that it's only going to, but because we go through backer kit and now
Guys, you
Kickstarter has
can't
this
wait for
extension.
that stuff.
Yeah. But now that they have the extension, so as long as we fund by November 23rd, we can continue to unlock with any further support that comes afterwards. And in backer kit with Hidden Force,
Well, that's cool that you can continue to unlock. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we ended up doubling our backing. So we ended up
well, there you go.
We were still really unlocking other figures where there was 3 more figures unlocked afterwards. So yeah.
That's awesome.
I remember at Joe Fest, you had re-released Hidden Force Kickstarter, and it was the day, it was like Saturday or Sunday or whatever you were at Joe Fest, and you'd like just crossed that finish line. It was down the wire.
It did. Yeah. We timed it so that the last day of our Kickstarter would be at Joe Fest, and it ended up funding on that last day.
It's so crazy. Like everyone has always said, like you have that initial surge, and then right now you're like in the middle ground where there's like that lull, and like you said, everyone's waiting, and then for some reason, like people's alarms go off, like, "Hey, wait, what? Oh, I've got 2 days. I better make it." Where were you, man? Like,
I know, and I don't think people understand that if they were going to there's that whole momentum thing. So if they were interested in doing it by doing it at the last minute, they're ensuring that all those other tiers don't get unlocked. Because if they had come in earlier, then it looks like it's going to be a success earlier.
Yeah, then people finding it later would feel like it's going to fund, and they'd buy in.
I know,
It's just there's a landslide effect or a snowballing effect rather.
Yeah.
So this is a question I had earlier to do with the equipment. So you have the equipment listed on here. Why didn't you show the pictures of the equipment? Has it not been rendered?
Because at this point, only half of it's been modeled. A lot of it still is just 2D. Actually, today, 4 more pieces came in. And it was, again, it's just all the people that are doing modeling, the 3D modeling right now, are in high demand. There's a lot of work out there being offered. So,
our new skill in my job market, is that what you're saying?
We used about 9 different people, and out of 9 different people, we couldn't get anything done right now. Everybody was like, I can get to you in 3 weeks. I can start that piece in a month, so it's just all trickling in. But I will put up the 2D art where need be, and then the 3D models of the other stuff along with it.
Because that robot assistant backpack, that's going to get someone right there. Yeah.
When I read that, I was like, what?
Yeah.
I want that.
Yeah. You will. It's fun. It's a fun piece for sure.
And this is Troop Builder here.
Yeah. And when Matt does all the deco. He's my partner in Hidden Force, but he's the guy that he and I have created all the figures all together all the time. I come up with the idea of the guy and some ideas of how they'll look, and then Matt makes that into a reality. He's amazing. So, but Matt here, he was like, I want this guy to be able to, like, for people that like Night Vipers from G.I. Joe, I want this guy to fit right in. Like, I want so that's sort of where he went with that. Yeah,
that's cool.
And as far as the sculptor,
I just hear that henchman voice from Venture Brothers when I see this.
Well, when I gave Stefan was the sculptor for this one, and when I gave him the input, I was like, okay, I want the helmet to look like somewhere between RoboCop, Saw Viper.
I was gonna say Saw Viper.
I mean, you're nailing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, all right, here you go.
RoboCop, Saw Viper, night colors, good.
Yeah, definitely the green and the shape of the Saw Viper. That's absolutely.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
Whoa!
All right.
Wasn't
here we go. We're going to take it. It's like every time we turn, it's like a new turn here, from pumpkins to kneecappers to
Swampfire. He's one of my absolute favorites in this line. He's the number 2 of Chaos. He's Killjoy's right hand man. He's the dude. So if Killjoy says, "Hey, the army needs to go out and eliminate those guys," it's Swampfire that leads them. Yeah.
So wait,
Very
why? Cool. I don't want to sound like a racist.
Okay.
But why is he green?
It's
what?
He doesn't know. It's part of the story. He doesn't know. He
woke
up
when Swamp Thing fell into the swamp and turned into the Swamp Thing?
Yeah,
this is his body.
Did he lose his sleeves there too?
This is the human part that came out of the swamp.
That's right. There's definite tones there. There's some definite crossover there.
Huh. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know. That speaks to his dedication, and professionalism. Because if I came out green, I'd be like, boss, I'm not coming in. I'm gonna get this checked out. I got other
that
priorities.
last experiment you did on me. Yeah, I'm getting weird looks at the grocery store.
I knew those eggs tasted funny. So, here we go.
So Buzzkill is sort of he's sort of just he's a weapon. He's Killjoy will give him an order, go eliminate so and so, and he'll slowly walk off into the.
I was gonna say he'll slowly walk towards you,
right? Yeah, and it might take him a month, but he always comes back. Mission complete. Yeah.
His possessed chainsaw. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Reaper. Yeah.
He keeps getting distracted by going after the same grandma over and over again, though. So, poor Jamie Lee Curtis.
So the Cult of the Knife is the only one that A, they have a placeholder head right now, and B, they're one of the figures that change dramatically with their gear. So they have a full like hooded cloak that they wear, and they carry a lot of knives, and so it really sort of transforms the figures.
I like the jumpsuit / mechanic themes you got going on with some of these too, because like the bright blue one, like when you say he's an arms dealer, I'm like, yeah, I could easily see him like getting his overalls all dirty and actually making the weapons too, right? Like,
right.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So, and I love the murder gloves he's got on. His hands, the strangle gloves.
Or it's just for all the grease and everything.
Sure. Cult of the Knife is such a good name. That is a good name.
Thanks.
Just blood drenched. Throwing that glove away.
And again, I love being able to like scroll through and just see the variety. They're not as flashy as the Hidden Force, right? The Hidden Force is very, very
They're
bright.
Not, but I like that. I think
that's what I'm saying.
And the variety is so fun.
It's a good balance to what is bright for Hidden Force, but still variety. So yeah.
This was an alternate head on that one skeleton guy, right? Yeah. No?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, it was.
Yeah.
Similar.
It's
kind of a Scarecrow-esque.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's like a burlap sack.
Yeah, really creepy. Or
Yeah.
someone's face he cut off and
That's what you want to see.
Okay, these guys here. All right, new symbol. Explain what's going on with this 70s biker guy here with the.
Yeah. Okay. So there was a toy line created by Lucky Bell in the 90s, and they were called Power Commandos, and Power Commandos are just absolute crazy. Like they metal mask and submarine and X-ray eye, like they're just crazy names, crazy concepts. And they fought a couple of guys, and the group of bad guys, their name was Terror. And so we've called these guys the Terror Commandos. And they're just straight up homages. Like I said, I've tried many times to contact Lucky Bell. Well, I contacted Lucky Bell after many times of trying to, and they just were sort of, what? Yeah, remember, I guess we remember those. And I was like, I want to buy them. Like, I want to buy the rights to them. I want to own I want to own them. And they're like, they just sort of like, I think they're public domain. Like, we haven't touched that in 30 years or 25 years.
Yeah.
Huh.
I was like,
they were like, listen,
weird. I'm literally
want your money, but
right? I was like, I don't get it.
We can't do anything about it.
So I unabashedly, I'm just like, okay, well, I'm just going to use those characters then, if you think that they're public domain. So yeah, here we are.
Well, I've been inspired. I'm going to make a competing line against you using that same public domain.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. I can't stop you.
I can't stop you, dumb.
But Mummy Mask. So in our universe, in our whatever of what Chaos is, the Power Commandos, like that was we see that as a program. It was sort of a way of taking wounded soldiers and offering them, experimental ways of overcoming their wounds or their injuries. And
Interesting.
it wasn't,
there's a real like Invisible Man vibe going on there, but
Sure,
also
like
Negative Man from Doom Patrol.
Yeah. But not
there you
nearly
go.
as malevolent. Like I wanted it to be as that it was an altruistic, like they were truly trying to help people. But out of helping thousands, there's a couple that kind of went sideways, and they, the results weren't the intended results. And these are those guys.
I know some people may think that that's insane to jump on that, but I've been serving for 25 years, and I would raise my hand to go do that. My knees are shot. Like I would blindly sign that
no way
contract.
they'd get thousands. They'd get thousands.
Right. So the idea behind Mummy Mask is he had, like some sort of atrophy of the muscles or whatever. And they were trying to, reinforce his muscles and his ligaments or what have you, more or less reinforcing his muscles, maybe giving him a little bit of extra strength. And it worked. But the unfortunate thing is that sort of he lost muscle mass in his face. He lost the muscle.
Pulled his face.
He sort of grew muscles everywhere, and that removed any sort of definition in his face. Or he now sees himself as hideous, and so he covers himself up.
So a lot of them are coming with pets, and you just say his pet, but what does that mean? What do you guys? What's up your sleeve with the pets? Is it dogs? Is it just a bunch of dogs?
Okay, so everything is pretty grounded in a sort of a certain amount of reality. Yeah, and thus far, everything is like, okay, well, these are just people. That guy's got a torch. That guy's got a gun. That guy's got a mask. And here's where it starts to slip a little. And I'm very reluctant to show people what Gory is. Okay. Gory's a gremlin. We've actually got a gremlin, and
hence the ellipses there. His pet. Let's call it pet.
You buried the lead, man. No, that's not going to steer you up. Put the gremlin in there. People would love that.
So I'll have a picture of him up in the next few days.
What, he comes with a gremlin?
Yeah, I'll have a picture of him up in the next few days for sure.
I thought it was going to be
that's awesome.
And then X-Ray, he's in optics. He has a cyber eye. Again, we're trying to retrofit the figures that actually came out and make them make sense. So he has a couple of drones he calls the Evil Eyes, and they're connected to his cyber eye, so he sees what they see.
This guy definitely hits on his sister. I get that vibe immediately.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, among all the major crimes, there's definitely some minor crimes.
He played a lot of Double Dragon when he was a kid.
He tucks his hood into his V-neck. That's
I mean, it's
you got to keep it down,
jacket.
Man. You got to keep it down.
Jacket.
Yeah, no, it's good. These are so fun, man. All right, who we got here? Yes, these are.
Yeah. So Night Serpent, again, with that program of trying to find novel ways of healing people. This was part of I'm not going to even make any bones about it. It's definitely influenced by some other part of pop culture, but they were trying to find means of helping him regrow a lost limb, and he ended up becoming, if you can see his eyes, they're a bit green. Yeah. So and then they call him Night Serpent because of his look without his mask. We'll just leave that.
So when a certain hooded or masked terrorist organization leaves all their wipers lying around, these guys pick them up. I see. Okay.
Right. Yeah. And then
big in Europe.
It's a hood ass combo.
This one I was absolutely. Like, oh man, there's a certain figure that I absolutely love, and seeing this combo here, I was like, oh, very cool.
Well, and the concern there too is we could decide which head we wanted to put on as the main head and which is the backup, but it takes on a very specific look when you put that other head on. And
of course.
We're just trying to
skirt around that edge,
but also make the homage that we wanted to make.
But I mean, can I make like a character named Spider-Man that's wearing red and basically head to toe Spider-Man, but change the symbol, and it's not. I can't be sued by Marvel, right? I mean, like,
no, you'd absolutely be sued.
Well, I mean, because it's Disney. Let's pick a non-Disney.
No,
you'd wait, that's impossible. So anyway, but I mean, you only have to vary it by like 10% or something like that in order to be an original character, right? You should
is it? I don't even know.
Something
no,
really
I think
small,
it's.
right?
I think it's with something like Spider-Man's a bad example. Let's
because it's Disney and they own everything.
It's not because it's Disney. It's just because Spider-Man is so well known. It's so like understood.
Right.
Like I think it has to be. I mean, I think 10% is like the general rule of thumb, I guess. Like, But if you're mimicking Wolverine and you barely change it, like, and it's like it's 10% different, like, it doesn't, because there's been 1,000 versions of Wolverine in the comics, so like, it just doesn't.
It's all about what's defensible in court, and quite often there's obvious ripoffs, and then there's subtle.
Yeah, you'd have to be like, I made this up on my own. I've never read a Spider-Man comic in my life. I have no idea who this character is. This was completely.
I don't know. I think you're both wrong. I went to Mexico, and there was this flea market where I got my Man of Spider. Oh, his name was Miguel.
So the Wastelanders. So they live in Australia, and they're a biker gang, and use other vehicles as well, but mostly motorbikes. And they terrorize all the outlying communities. And there's obviously a reason, but at the stage of where it picks up, nobody knows why. But they just go around terrorizing all these communities
from the Thunderdome.
Yeah,
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Do any of them play guitar from the top of a giant movie?
Yeah.
We haven't revealed him yet, but no, I'm kidding. This is a kind of like an obvious nod to a Tonka toy line from the 80s that was definitely inspired by a certain trilogy.
Man, we're walking on a lot of eggshells tonight, Darren.
Yeah, I know. And coming up with this toy line, it was that was the whole thing from day one. It was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna homage everything that I think's awesome, but where is that line on each one? You have to find out where's that line and dials things back. Like certain people are like, well, why does the mask look like that? It should look like this. I'm like, I know what the original.
We know what it should look like.
It shouldn't look like that. That character looked like that. Yeah. This character, right? Like, no, it should not look like
Mine's
that.
different. Mine is not the same character.
Disney is watching the stream right now and is about to see you because they're buying all these properties right now. So you have a lawsuit coming your way.
Yeah,
Disney. So.
They had a successful conversation with Lucky Bell apparently. And,
exactly.
So this is that's the Steel Monsters, and that's
okay. So I have a question. So we're already at like unlocks at 240, which is a lot. So like, how much longer does that like backing section go? Like after it funds, like how is it just until it's fulfilled? Like they have forever to keep.
Absolutely until production starts, because then we can't produce more figure. You know what I mean? Like we can't unlock something and then all of a sudden, oh god, now we got to add that to production.
Right.
Right up to the.
But what's the window to production from like funding?
Well,
like, would you say?
With Hidden Force, we were under the impression it was 3 months, and it ended up being 6 or 7. So
okay, so you got there's a good chunk of time where like some of these unlocks are theoretically.
That's right. I would say
like,
rule of thumb. I'm going to say it's 3 months, because I think that we've got a better footing on this line than we had with Hidden Force.
Gotcha.
Now that they know how we work and we know how they work, so
still a solid 3 months. I mean, that puts you like well into the new year. You've got like some time to So there's potential for a lot of these unlocks to actually happen. Is what I'm getting at. There are quite a few.
And then the Black Bond.
The first female.
Yes. And even though they're a subgroup, they're not, and I've pulled subgroups from inspirations elsewhere. These were these were one of my creations. Like they were actually part of the original thing that I was before I started to add other lines. It was like, oh no, this Witch's Coven is absolutely. Oh, that Zazel.
Have you seen Zazel's TikToks now?
No, I haven't logged into TikTok since I got my new phone.
I'm sure it's on Instagram too. I'm sure he just posted the same thing.
All those senators who are banning it got in my head. I was like, I got to get away from this thing, man. It's going to make me evil. It's going to make me follow the devil.
Yeah, that's true. It does. Yeah. I mean, I love Satan. Satan is my pal.
Yeah. No.
Well, if I got a toy line for you.
I'll have to get on there. Send me a link to one of Zazel's TikToks so that I can force myself to go back in and log in, because it's really the tedious of like, TikTok. What's my password?
It's the classic Zazel. It's like introducing the wrestler, kind of thing.
I love those. No, I love all those. Yeah, those are great. So I don't know where you got the picture of my ex from, but spot on.
In all honesty, and I know it's weird, but it might be weird, might not be weird, but there's 13 members in the Black Bond, and they're all my employees. They're all, every one of these girls actually, like, they're actually head sculpts, actual head sculpts of my actual employees.
Wait, so did the one? Did they
give you their likeness rights?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I was like, hey, we were just talking one day, and they were like,
I want you to do it. I want to have your head.
Like, if you sign off, you're right.
Yeah.
I'll make you into one of them. And they were like, oh my God. So then after the one, I'm not going to say their names, but after the one who was Hemlock, after she had said, yeah, all the others were like, I want to be one too. And I'm like, okay, sure. And so I've just been turning my staff into all the witches.
So do you have an actual White Walker on your staff here? That's interesting.
I changed. I mean, the skin tone changed a bit, but the head sculpt is.
I mean, Julia's shade though. Yeah.
She's pale though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and again, these are going to look much different when they have all their accessories, because all of the witches
extra creepy.
Yeah. And she'll have that same the hooded cloak, so there'll be a hood.
Oh, gotcha. Cool.
Female Jigsaw.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Man of Action had said in a comment earlier, I missed it too, like with capes, cloth goods. So
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, he's pumped for chaos.
Now we're getting into issues of the comic.
Every day of my life is chaos.
Awesome.
Look at you have so many more planned.
Oh, you have no idea. No idea. I have 300 figures already worked out.
The last time we had Darren on, he sent concept art of and there was even nothing I've seen here, by the way, he was included in those old concept arts, because it was like tortoise type ninja non-adults homages, right? Like all sorts.
You can't reuse ideas, Tim.
Yeah,
even if they're your own.
No, it's great. Like, just
moving on.
Tons and tons.
When we were going through everything for Hidden Force, that's right. When we were talking about it, we had 1,800 unused designs from previous that. Yeah,
what?
It's literally
what we do. Jacked. He's significantly larger than the other figures.
Yeah, he is. We call that the large body.
Buck.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you, Joe? I shot you a picture. Were you able to? Could you?
Okay. Oh yeah.
You want to show that? Okay. Well, we don't have it yet. Well, we don't have it yet. This is suspense. This is building suspense as we load this up behind the scenes here. So, why don't you hint towards what it is, and then we'll reveal. All right.
Well, okay. So we've done Hidden Force, and this is Chaos, and I think a lot of the people that know or have followed or have talked with us, I've never really hidden it. I know I've told everybody quite a bit. Like, the next one is Eagle Force and Impact. And they kind of come out around the same time. Eagle Force being the Fresh Monkey Fiction Eagle Force. We're doing in conjunction with Bill Murphy and Fresh Monkey Fiction and Big Bad Toy Store. Actually, we're doing Eagle Force 3 3/4 inch O-ring, and then that's going to be a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive. And then we're also doing Impact, which is our sort of our military line. It's called International Military and Police Anti-Crime Task Force, Impact. And so it's this global team of specialists from all these other special forces units to combat large-scale threats throughout the world. And we've been talking about it for years to anybody that right from the beginning of Hidden Force and throughout Chaos, we keep telling people, like, we are getting to a military line. If you make 3 3/4 action figures, you have to do military. It's in the rules. So we are getting to it. And
Geneva Conventions.
Yeah. So we've got the first picture. I asked my partner in the line, we've got all of this control art and pictures and colorways coming in. And I was like, do you want me to maybe share one sometime this week? And he's like, yeah, sure. Let's see if people are interested. So yeah, there might be something there for you to show off. I don't know.
All right. Well, here we go. Let's go ahead and we'll pull it up.
I'm doing something eventually.
Oh, no. Is that not it? That's not him? This isn't it. All right. Well, my bad. Okay. Oh, you got it?
Wait, do you got it?
Because I also have one. Yeah, I got one in there. Here. It's an overlay, though, but we'll pop it up. Here we go.
There we go. So that's Wise Guy. He is the leader of Impact. He's the Impact has 6 teams, 6 units that all deal with different threats, and he's the overall leader of those 6 teams.
Oh. Whoa, Zazel, thank you so much. And yes, let's hang out. I think you changed your work schedule, but Joe and I, we miss you, and we want you to come back on.
Yeah, come on, Zazel.
Yeah, we got to figure this out. We just
got
to
vice versa. Or
oh yeah, 100%. I wake up early, so you have to force Joe to get up early, but absolutely. So
I'd wake up for that.
Yeah, this is cool. I really dig the fact that. So first of all, I don't like figures that have permanent sunglasses on because they're just toads. I'm like, get out of here, guy. Like, we're indoors right now. Take this off. Yeah. But the fact he has an alt head, like this is great. Also, I love it as a buzz cut. Great. Yeah. So this is cool. So are these guys going to be potentially tied to CHOAS? Are these the protagonists for it's totally separate.
Totally separate. We have 5 very big international criminal organizations that Impact fights.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, there's always the potential for crossover. Baked into the sort of the whole idea of CHOAS. There's certain pieces of equipment or weapons that Killjoy wants, to keep his stratagems or all of his actions above anybody else being able to hold him accountable for his actions. So he has a couple sort of aces up his sleeve, and one of them is the looking glass, which is akin to teleporter technology. And in that, it allows them to travel, like a teleporter would, but sometimes it allows them to go to other places too, maybe other universes. And I say sometimes as in that's not intentional. It's they don't have full control over the equipment.
Does he want to see Pinhead? Because that's how you open the gateway to hell, to see Pinhead is messing with teleporter. Everybody knows that. So we had talked about this earlier, how that's just a universal storytelling device to allow you to port in whatever you want, right? It's like I want Dinosaur Man here, gateway open to Dinosaur World. Like, it's such a great, and then you can just, I don't want Dinosaur Man anymore. Close the gate, and we never, they're gone. You can't have them back in here. Yeah,
that was actually the biggest reason was. I don't know.
Dinosaur Man?
I don't know if I should admit this, but I needed a vehicle where if all of a sudden I lost the ability to use certain characters, where I could just write them out of it. Like, they're gone. And that's why they went through the portal and they're gone,
Man.
So
you're like Vince McMahon with wrestling. You're just ready to cut anyone's contract.
I know. I had to be sure that the whole story wasn't compromised just by whatever. If somebody was like, if Lucky Bell finally was like, you know what, we do own those characters, So I wrote that in as being one of Killjoy's key pieces of equipment, but even he doesn't know enough about it, and we'll see. We'll see.
There you go. You got somewhere to jump in for a
four. Oh, that's awesome. Thanks.
Way to go.
That's awesome.
Yes, and Zazel, that wrestling reference was for you. I knew I had the song Wrestling Gems.
He doesn't know. Zazel, he doesn't know.
And for what it's worth, all of this stuff I'll be working on in the next few days, but the looking glass that I keep talking about is a piece of equipment that a portal that they can walk through. That's actually all sculpted and what have you. Like that will be that'll be one of those free add-ons if we hit.
I haven't
figured out how many backers, but as soon as we hit X amount of backers, everybody
look like a Stargate.
Yeah, it's kind of it is and it isn't. It's smaller. It's really cool.
I'm excited to see that. So that's really cool. I'm excited to see that.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's just a handheld mirror. That's all.
Yeah. Look how cool that is.
I do look good.
I made it reflect.
Yeah, they could just reach through. That's it. That's all we can do. So I can handshake the guy over there.
Yeah.
Man, that's exciting. That's awesome. All right, so we're gonna. I think I put the Kickstarter link in the description. I'm pretty sure. If not, we'll add it in there. But yeah, everyone go check it out. Man of Action's already jumped on it. So
that's amazing. Thank you, Man of Action.
Yeah, very cool, dude. I'm excited. Finn's already earmarked. I forgot to label the ones that basically anyone with a skull on his face, Finn was in. I was like, dude, Halloween's over, man. But I want the pseudo headhunter Darkline guy. That was my number one. I was like, that's the one. So, and I may get Murder Gloves just because he has the murder gloves. Yeah,
Murder Gloves.
So
he looks so much more complete when he has his iconic helmet. Like I said, that figure came from European Force, and he has a very distinct look, and he's very distinctly, whatever. And he does look a little odd without his helmet. His helmet, as soon as I can show it, of course, I'll show it. I'll include it. But yeah.
So you're saying he's just very European? That's what you're just saying. He's just very, very European. All right. Well, let's. We got some more time here, so let's go over some toys of the week. Let's go over some pickups. Darren? You got any fun stuff you've bought recently? No, neither have I.
Every cent I have for toy budget goes into producing toys. Unfortunately,
yeah. Every cent.
My money went into wallpaper, a new bookcase, and a ceiling fan. Yay! That's where my what you gots are for this month. So we're renovating.
It's not in the chat, but I'll add it after the show. But,
okay, great. I'll make sure. Yeah, thanks.
But it's in the chat. It's not in the description. I just put it in the chat. But
that's right. Thanks. All right. Well, Joe, this is you, buddy. So what do you got here? What you got?
Oh, so many. Well, so many GI Joes, but also other things. I got.
Let's do this. Wait. We got to do the thingy.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, no hard work in these. There we go. All right.
Where am I at? This way.
Ready Player 2.
This way. This way.
Oh, look at that fun guy.
Dude, this is just like, I don't know why. I don't know how many of these I'm gonna get, but man, I got Chun Li as a whim when I was in the store, and I was just like, this will be fun. My daughter will play with her, it's fun. But then I was just like, do I want more Street Fighter toys? Because they're really awesome. But this one specifically, I was just like, I love that candy red armor he's wearing. I was just like, I got it. I want version 2. So weirdly, I have both version 2s of Chun Li and Bison, and I guess I'll grab like a Ryu and a few others at some point. But
Darren made this point at the beginning here, right? So the good guys really outnumbering the bad with the line. So yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Cool energy hand.
This is the player 2 version, right? This isn't his regular.
Yeah, but this is from that Big Bad Toy special they had.
Oh, okay.
So it was like special coloring because it has the red on it or whatever for that. And I was just like, you know what? I do want that. But anyway, for $25, pretty awesome figure. He moves fantastically, anyway. But just, this is a really cool feature. If you don't want the cape on, it clips off these secondary.
Man, that snap worried me. Oh, look at that. That's cool.
It's not, yeah, that's how it clips on. But and then the plain one would snap back on it instead if you didn't want the cape on or whatever. But I thought that was really cool. Weird engineering feat that they did. But it's a cool cloth wired cape.
We'll all be able to see Zayzla Joe Fest. Check that out. Hey, awesome. All right.
Oh, good.
Very cool. This is fun, man.
Speaking of Joes, aside from him, it's all GI Joes.
All right, here we go. I'm ready.
First of all, I got some. What you can see here is the Twilight Guard. He's awesome. There's a weird thing going, like a lot of not fitting pieces. Like this wasn't made to go over his bicep well.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't go up as high. I don't know. Like I'm just like, I gotta heat gun a few things to like warp the rubber to get it to go around properly.
Weird. So we call those brassards in the military, right? Where you pull it up over your sleeve, but they're not armor. Like that would never stay on unless you're actually like amputating your, right? Like just completely cutting off the blood flow. So those, I'm not shocked that they don't stay on. Like that's a really hard.
Well, so the weird thing is that it wasn't made for him. These came out on a different figure, and obviously this is a repaint of like several other figures.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
But like, and I don't remember who it came with first.
But that's where you grab a figure to move its arm, like putting anything right at that joint. You know what I mean? Like that's just not a.
Yeah, it doesn't get in the way. I mean, like you can move.
Oh yeah. But no, but see, there you go. As you're playing with it, right? It's like slippy slidey there. So,
I don't know. It is what it is. Like I said, I'm gonna heat this one up a little bit just so I can jam it up his bicep a little bit further, so it equals the one on the right hand.
It is a cool figure.
But decentish cloth tape. I hope that if they do Gold Head Destro, I hope it's a little better than this. Like this isn't bad, but it's like it's as close to cheap as you can get without being completely junk.
Okay.
It's two colors, which is crazy for such a thin, flimsy piece of cloth. But he's pretty cool.
Darren, are you a 6-inch collector or are you just 4-inch?
I'm just 3 3/4 inch.
Oh, I got so many, Darren. And then he came with this Night Force Steel Brigade. Jamming on that bicep.
Yeah, the biceps will be a new insult.
Speaking of armor that's on their biceps that don't get in the way, this worked perfectly. This is fine.
That's cool.
inhibit him in any way. But he's pretty fun.
Man, he looks like he's about ready to go battle some xenomorphs, man.
I know. I love, like, they really armored up the Steel Brigade guys.
Yeah.
I love that because I kind of like use them as my, I don't know, green shirts, so to speak, you know, kind of thing. So I love the Steel Brigade, so I've gotten quite a few of them. But this is a cool addition to those.
So Darren, I don't have any bias towards one scale or another, but I have to say that recently, like Joe, I went to go visit my best friend here, Joe, if you didn't know, and he has all these classified figures. And I was pulling them off the shelf, and I was like, these feel great in my hands. Like I've got, like I literally was tinkering with a 4-inch figure right here, Joy Toy, that I absolutely love. But like there's something about the 6-inch figures where I'm like, this is fun. I don't know why this. I don't feel like I'm about to just like shatter it, and like I don't know if I'm like, you know, my giant hands are trying to go like this. I don't know what it is, but like having 6-inch figures is super fun.
There's something fun of, I mean, I kind of joked with Dom about it being like, I think it's the equivalent of like, we're larger, so the figures being larger just makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah, our 1/1 scale also increased somehow. Yeah,
it feels totally. Yeah. You know, it's funny. I don't collect 6-inch figures, but this figure in particular really validated Matt. Actually, if you could stop. Oh yeah, but really validated Matt and I, because when we were Red Laser's Army, we made that figure.
That's right.
And then 10 years later, Hasbro used the exact same design we did, and we were like,
really?
Oh, that's awesome. Like they
stole it.
It's a nod to it, but they were like, they recognized the greatness that it was, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
So wait, I wanted to ask, I know this is a deviation. I wanted to ask about that. So you made Red Laser's Army, you made the Bats, you made Crimson Guardsmen also, right?
No, that was Black Major.
That was Black Major. Okay, but you made the Bats for Red Laser Army also?
Yeah, we did. Okay. We had a couple. We only had a couple of molds, but yeah, that whole story. I mean, so Black Major was getting out of the business, and at the time, I had done something with Marauder John just before he had done Marauder. Like there was a different toy business he was doing before that, and that didn't really materialize, unfortunately. And so I put that out there that I was really wanted to get into a very small toy line that I could buy, and Black Major was getting out of the business, and so he said he'd sell me the molds he had, and he would retire, and that was that. And I was like, perfect. Okay, so I bought the molds, and a couple months later I went to go use them, and the factory's like, yeah, they're not there. I'm like, what do you mean? And they were like, there's only a couple of the molds. And I was like, well, I spent a lot of money on these molds, and they're like, yeah, only 2 of them are there. And I'm like, oh my god. So finally got everything up and running, got my first few runs of figures out, being this bat. That was my first bat that I ever did, was this Iron Grenadier bat. And then Black Major's like, actually, I'm going to come back in. And I was like, wait a minute, that was what I bought, was that you weren't going to compete against me. And he's like, yeah, I changed my mind. And I was like, well, and then he had the audacity that my missing molds showed up in his possession. So the molds that I bought
really
from him, went missing and showed up with his stuff. So so things were pretty behind the scenes. They were pretty cutthroat and nasty. And after a couple more defeats, I was like, I don't want this world. Like, I'm happy to learn how to make action figures here, but I'm done with this, and I'm just going to move on to making my own things that nobody can, like, forget it. So, yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, sorry to totally make that.
No, that was cool. That was.
Don't apologize. That was
But yeah, that's ultimately we stopped Red Laser because essentially the same thing happened. The factory went out of business.
Yeah.
That's what we call it here too.
They'll try to mask that word with 1 star. It's like, oh man, what could it be?
What do you call it? I didn't get it.
You can't move. You can't move in Australia. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
But essentially, like, just pre-COVID, the factory went out of business, and we lost all the molds, and that was the last straw for me. I was like, I don't want to start over from scratch doing the same thing that puts me against this awful guy again, Black Major. And then I was like, we'll just put our energy into our own thing. So yeah,
interesting. That's really fascinating. All right, I stole Joe's spotlight here with this. Oh man, bird down, squawk.
He's got some heavy wing backpack.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah,
the backpack's awesome. I mean, the wings are awesome. They fold around like
so awesome.
Pivot. They can go down. It's pretty cool. Well, there you go. A lot of movement there. It's pretty cool. Anyway, this guy's ridiculous. Don't know why I bought him.
Because he's awesome. No, it's super cool.
Because he is awesome. I know.
Bob nailed it. It's a huge improvement. If they were going to do anything with this stupid character, this is what they should have done. Maybe, I don't know, give him a shirt.
I mean, I actually love it with this ridiculous bird hat he has. Like, he has an amazing head sculpt.
Wait, let me see his back. Does he have a mullet? He's got to have a mullet, right?
He's got, like, long...
Yes. Is it a rat tail?
No, it's more like...
They should have gone full mullet with that guy. Missed opportunity. Kind of dude's flying around. Come on.
It's like just long hair that's flowing back.
Yeah, I know, but like, you guys want to watch me fly on this thing? Like, that's totally...
The thing that's... I don't know. This is such a good head sculpt, but they ruin it with this Robin Domino mask he's got on.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, I mean...
But, you know, I wish just when I take this bird head off, like, there was suddenly not a Robin mask on there.
Oh,
like, this is fantastic. Yeah, like, other than that, it's my one nitpick. I'm like, I wish that was just not there. But other than that, he's ridiculous and also cool, but also really, really ridiculous. But, you know,
man, they really just did not shy away from the vulture wings from Spider-Man. Like, just like, yeah, just do that.
No, they just went straight
right
like,
there.
Look,
yes, we've already got it.
Even got like the bird, like the
turb,
like it's just straight like. What is it? Homecoming.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's pretty fun.
I'm gonna interrupt you again, Joe. We started watching Magnum PI with the family, by the way.
What?
Yeah. I've been craving to watch it so badly, and it came on the Roku channel because I didn't want to pay.
And you're just like,
we're watching this, guys. Unfortunately, the first pilot is like a mini movie, and they're kind of like started waiting. They're like, I'm like, okay, we're gonna skip this to get to like more of the action ones, right? So like, completely side tangent there. I just didn't mean to tell you we started watching Magnum PI. So.
I've just been meaning to tell you.
I had just got to get
really need to tell you about Magnum PI.
Always been underrated. No, Bob, the opposite.
Alpine came out. Whoops, move that up a little bit.
You know what? I gotta ask. I can remember everybody. There's Magnum, Jody, TC, Higgins,
Rick.
Right, thanks. But I don't remember what he did. Like, I know he was a PI, but like, I don't remember any of his investigations or any of that. I don't remember any of the. I just remember the helicopter.
I mean, it was very. I mean, like it was very formulaic for the time. Like Murder, She Wrote. It was just like whatever random bad guy he went up against.
Bad guy of the week kind of thing.
You know, or some very like damsel in distress. Like someone walks in and goes, "I need your help, Magnum, to help me find this person," but really they're the murderer or something. You know,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very run of the mill. But I mean, I think the reason I love that show, I think, in the grand scheme of things. Well, it's Tom Selleck, but also like the overarching plot lines, like would slowly, like it wasn't just like beat for beat, like villain of the week kind of thing.
Oh,
like,
really?
There was slow evolving of a plot, like
interesting,
with his daughter that he thought was dead, and like like all of this kind of stuff. Like so, like there's more interesting stuff as the seasons progress.
I haven't watched it since I was a kid, so maybe
it's
I should revisit.
Tom Selleck's great. Yeah, he's really fun. We watched 2. It's really fun. It's worth going back. Much like the pickups of the week. Here we go. What do we got? See, that was a great segue. I'm an excellent host.
Cool print on his shirt. This Idaho stuff. Like I don't love Alpine, but like this is I almost would have passed on him just because I'm like, I don't really care.
No, he's super cool. Wait, what's the shirt say? Was it a state?
It just says Idaho. Yeah,
that's so great. Look at that.
It's like a really cool print. I know it's hard to read. There you go. That's probably the best it gets there. But I mean, the hat comes out like this is rare because like them having a head sculpt where the hair doesn't get in the way.
Yeah,
right.
Everything comes off, so that's pretty cool.
Alpine, we got a mission. Let's go. I just got my vet. Let's go. There's no time. Well, I've got this stupid shirt on. Let's go. Just go, dude.
He's got all kinds of climbing equipment, which is really cool. Like he's got these cool.
Oh, so cool. Yeah.
Things that slide in there. He's got the grappling hook. This came with that one Storm Shadow, the winter version 3 Storm Shadow, the winter one. But he's also got like the chalk bag, and if you don't want it on there, like getting in the way, you can just take it off. So that's kind of cool. I was like, that's kind of neat. Like you can kind of get rid of some of this junk. These clamps are stuck on there forever. But other than that, it's fine. Really cool, really good figure.
Did he come with actual rope?
No, he came with fake rope.
Oh, what a missed opportunity to like go the hit and run route and have it actually like.
Well, he came with real rope on this grappling hook. I mean, you can't unravel this.
Oh, you can't.
No, you can't.
Oh, there you go. I mean, you can have him like does he have like a carabiner?
You can have him dangling.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't like the fake rope around your body though. I don't need that. Just don't do
it. Finn has been criticizing figures. Like we were playing with one figure, I had to strip some stuff off of them just to be able to play with it. He's like, I really wish people would make toys to play with instead of just display. As I was like trying to like take, cool? And so I was like taking this crap off so they could like actually run around.
Well, I mean, like even like my shipwreck behind me, like I took that fake rope off of him and gave him a real rope.
Yeah,
I gave him like a string, and I was like, I'm tying this anchor onto a string.
Something every sailor needs is rope.
I mean, yeah. Then I got
Look at this. Yes.
So I got 2 of these.
Of course.
Wow.
Of course.
With 8 more coming.
No. I'll just get all the repaints.
Oh, right.
No, I'm assuming they'll do like, and this is the classic version. I'll be like, I'll buy 17 of those. Thank you. These are really, really cool. Love them a lot.
Yeah, like those are good.
They've even got the like, even for this ridiculous pistol they have like the holster on the back where you can put it.
Okay.
You know,
it's so funny because everyone, again, like, you know, pocketbooks speak. Everyone screamed like, "Oh, what is this?" That figure sold it instantly. Like, I was like, "Oh, I think I might go get that," and I went and checked. I was like, "Oh, those are gone." Like,
wait, which one?
These ones right here. Everyone was like angry about them. I was like, "Really?" And
I thought they were fantastic. I think it's a great blend of like the 25th versions and like the old school version.
Yeah.
I mean, even the helmet comes out. Like, that's really cool. Like, you know, this is ripe for repaint too. They can absolutely just be like, "And we're changing this to this version of it and this version of that." And so, like, hopefully they make a bunch of these because I loved the Iron Grenadiers when I was a kid. Goldhead Destro and the Iron Grenadiers, like my favorites. So.
Yeah. Darren, do you find yourself
I will definitely get more
toys as like a toy designer and just like you like can't unlook at it with like different design aspects, or like dick picking, or like, oh, maybe I can include that. Like you just
absolutely
it always just gets.
I honestly. I literally have no like I don't collect toys right now. We don't have any places around here that sell toys. I'm in a toy devoid zone, and so a lot of the stuff you're showing me, this is the first time I've seen this, and yeah, I mean,
you have the internet.
Yeah, I do. I'm pretty busy. I'm super busy, but I mean, these Iron Grenadiers, they look awesome. That's for sure. I definitely
really, pick up. Cool.
I can definitely pick up Eric Aranya. He did some of the stuff from Hasbro in like 2005, 2006. And like maybe it was even up to 2008. But like I definitely pick up a lot of the stuff that he was putting down in these figures. They're great. Like they're sort of continuation of their
reuse of the Crimson Guard boots and legs, I think. But like but they glossed it up really. It's crazy. There's a lot of gloss on him. He's really shiny black, but there are really subtle things like this drapes all the way across his crotch and lines up with the double breasted, which I thought was really like I thought it was. I was like, oh, this is off, and I started to move it to where like it would be draped in the middle, and then I was like, oh wait, it's because it's coming from the side.
Right.
But there's a lot of little subtle things with these guys, and I was like, man, that's really.
It's always my favorite part of the show when we start examining the crotches of the figures.
You gotta look at the crotch.
It's the first place my eyes go to. So yeah, it makes sense.
Anyway, then I got this guy here.
Nice.
He's got a really chromed out face. So you almost see my reflection in it.
Is this the first classic Cobra Commander they've done?
No.
Didn't one come with the Hiss Viper? I mean the Hiss tank?
It came with the Hiss tank. I didn't open that one because I was just like, somebody else cares about this more than me. I'll probably sell it. I don't need this, kind of thing. With the misprinted Cobra symbol for no reason. Kind of
Mickey
thing.
Mouse?
And I was just like, what's the point of that? Yeah, the Mickey Mouse version. So I was like, they're gonna remake it. I'll just get that one. And I'm glad I waited because like the chrome mask, I'm like,
interesting.
You got me. Yeah, this is fun. I mean, it's just classic Cobra Commander, nothing crazy about it. But I got one last thing that
oh my god,
I was gonna say for news this week because they finally released pictures of it. But when they released the pictures, instead of pre-order, it was in stock, and you just bought it. And I was like, "Oh shit!" And that was this little guy right here.
Wait, you could buy this separate? Did you get Nemesis?
No.
Yeah, there you go. I was about to say, I was like, how you gotta like
He's right here.
I really wanted this guy.
He's really, 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 really cool.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. Yeah.
So they modeled him more from the recent comic book, which people complained about, but the recent comic book is fantastic, and I absolutely love that they went that direction.
There's some cool, like there's translucents in the wings, so you can like look through them, which is really cool.
Yeah, there he is. He's on the cover here.
Yeah, from the cover Commander issue.
Yeah, nailed it. Like it's such a cooler rendition of him.
The way his wings look specifically, I feel like is from that. But also the extra bone armor.
Yeah, exactly.
Shoulders is very much from that. The alternate head sculpt's really cool. I haven't even put it on yet, but really like the dead eyes and the extra bone doomsday bone armor kind of thing.
Yeah. See, Darren, you can have your military guys and your crazy over the top. You know what I mean? Get in there. Get your gremlin out there, Darren. We want to see.
He's enormous, but he's not like too huge, which I like. Kind of. He's like a little bit bigger than Sergeant Slaughter, or like he's kind of on par with like Serpentor. Like Serpentor was gigantic, but
we're getting Zazel's ire up. They were the coolest characters, except when Pythona threw that horrible face thing onto that one Crimson Guardsman, and he like ran away screaming.
He screamed.
Yeah,
he screamed like, horrifyingly.
We didn't need to make him scream like that. He could have just fell silently like that. I'd wake up to that cry.
No, sometimes. You had to know, Dom.
How
right
bad
away.
it was.
Horrifyingly
horrible. Yeah. Ugh.
Dom, you didn't look at this. Look, the translucency on the wings.
Oh, cool.
Is really, really cool.
That is really cool.
Anyway, that's my last one.
Man, that's a lot, man. I went to
have a million G.I. Joes coming this
That's
week.
A lot of figures. Yes, yeah. Like, and you see this here, right? You see this like pile here, and that's a lot. And then I see all these what you got to get like every other week, and I'm like, oh, there's a pile more, and 5 more, and 4 more. But then when you go and actually see them all on the shelves, I'm like, holy
it's
crap,
insane.
This is a lot of figures. So
well
done.
I just got to like putting up. I was like sorting through all the figures that we were playing with when you were here, Dom. I was like, let me slowly put these back up on shelves.
Ooh, I don't know.
And then my son came in and was like, I want to play with these, and pulled them all off, and I was like,
I missed this one, but I definitely would also try to get it. Probably miss it.
The word on Pythona is that they're absolutely doing it, but who knows when? Kind of
so way back when, years ago, Joe, literally 2 years ago, we were when I was in my crappy garage streaming out there, we talked about these figures being introduced, and I was like, Globulus. I'd be 100% into a 6-inch Globulus with a rubber tail that would move around. Like, oh my god, like how great would that be?
Hopefully it's segmented, because they've done
sure
rubber, but also with like the way the alligator is with like the crocodile is with Crocmaster. But you know what I mean? Like, hopefully they kind of do something that's posable, but you can kind of keep it there. I don't know.
Darren, I also like the fact that we had you on this time and you didn't have the sound of the kitchen going on last time.
Was that what was going on last time?
They were like clanking dishes and stuff. And I was like, this poor guy, man, he is just trying to make this happen. Like, God bless him.
I know.
Anyway,
I pretty much live there. This is one of those rare occasions where I'm not there. I'm at home. So
and launching a Kickstarter, man, dude.
Yeah. Oh, I do other things too. Not just the restaurant, not just the Kickstarter. Not the
he's also Canadian Mountie. So
yeah. I also moonlight as Wolverine. So
there you go. He's also a mutant
running around the woods with wolves.
My son has a that Disney toy box line. It was from a while ago, but it was like a video game and it was very cartoony, but it mixed like Marvel with Disney princesses and like Pixar. It was all like kind of in like one line. So they're all very cartoony looking, kind of proportionally, and Star Wars as well. But I used to buy all those for my daughter, but my son's been playing with them, and he's like, I've got Wolverine, and he keeps pulling off like my Mezco Wolverine off the shelf and be like, look, this one's yours and this one's mine. I was like, yes, stop playing with mine. Mine's very expensive. It can also cut you, kind of thing. But he's been playing with Wolverine a lot lately. He's loving it.
My kids are now grown, and they were never really into the toys. They just were like, yeah, that's awesome what you're doing. And the few times that we would test stuff. We would like play pattern and test stuff.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, my son, his favorite figure out of my entire G.I. Joe collection, because we would use them as, you know, as the basis of whatever, and was Sludge Viper. He was like, this guy rocks. This guy's the best figure ever. And I'm like, oh my God, like I forgot that guy existed.
Yeah,
you know, like just, you have no idea how many other cooler guys there are. He's like, nope, this is it. This is the one.
Yeah. Interesting choice.
Yeah.
Sludge
Viper. It's the teal. It's the teal, I think. Yeah.
Well, you raised him wrong. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I did.
Oh yeah, my son, like, he's very much into vehicles, and I've been slowly being like, well, what about a vehicle that transforms into a robot? You know, kind of like slowly.
I honestly,
but recently he's loved putting he's like, can I have a guy to go in this? And I'm like, yes, here's a G.I. Joe that goes in that tank. Yeah, like
that's awesome.
So I actually get in there.
I think I damaged my kids in that because way back in the day, I was like, you know what? You probably shouldn't tell people that I have a toy business or a toy company because they're not going to believe you. The kid on the playground that says, my dad has a toy company, nobody's going to believe you. And especially because I don't have products in stores that you can point at.
Oh, yeah.
Probably, you know, you probably just shouldn't tell anybody. Anyways, my son last year, he's 17. So last year, he's like, can I tell people now?
You taught him to feel shame.
He's like, do you have a toy company? I'm like, have you kept this quiet for 10 years? He's like, I'm not to tell anyone. I'm like,
told no one, Dad.
I felt so bad. I'm like, you've been carrying this.
You told me not to tell anybody.
You've been carrying this for a decade.
I thought it was I thought you were a spy.
Like, Dad, I killed a man when I accidentally slipped with this secret. You don't.
Oh yeah.
One time on the way home on the bus ride, I accidentally said something about it. Had to get rid of that bus.
Put on my murder gloves, Dad.
Yeah. So I damaged my kids. You're right. They don't have very good choice into figures.
Ice cream soldier.
Well, all right.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, go check out this Kickstarter. Chaos is awesome. It's full of all villains, as Darren said, villain and villain action, which that's spicy for me. But a lot of awesome villains, great variety, cool characters. It's up right now, so don't be those weirdos who like wait till the last second.
You got
like,
16 days. Let's push this over.
Get on. What are you waiting for? Get over there. So Man of Action's already jumped on 4 of them, so come on, get going. And don't forget to vote tomorrow.
I want Pumpkinhead.
Get out there. Get out there and hit those poll boxes tomorrow. Vote, guys. Make sure it counts. All right. I think we won, Joe.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we won toys for the week.
All right, cool. All right, guys. Yeah. Well, hey, Darren, thanks so much for coming back on.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. That was great. Thank you.
And thanks everybody who's watching the show and in the chat. We love you guys. High fives free all day.
High fives free all day. Free all day.
I think you got to pay at sundown though.